see if that works. Hello Facebook, how is everybody? I hope you are well, kicking off the week to a good start. And hello to YouTube, very nice to have you with me. I'm just checking what I've got in the background. Yes, I've done it before. Last time, there's a wider screen. We're doing it in a different version for Facebook and for YouTube. So we're filming that way, which means they get more of me going vertically. Whereas Instagram, you get the up and down picture. Anyway, I did what I did on this morning when I didn't realise that all this stuff over here out of vision is not in fact out of vision, it's seen. And there was rather nasty shots of kind of detritus and yellow dishcloths and stuff hanging up on national television, which I thought, oh no, I wish I'd spotted that. Anyway, does my background look all right? What do you reckon? I think it's kind of okay, isn't it? Hey, Amy, how are you? Happy Monday. So Amy is manning Facebook. Thank you very much, Amy. I've got lots of links, so I hope you're feeling energetic on your fingers today because I've got lots of stuff. Thanks for all your hearts on Facebook, and thank you. Hi, Tanya Jane. Thank you so much. Lovely, lovely comments. Yeah, Linktree, as always, on Instagram. I have preloaded a few of the things I'm going to be talking about today. If you're new to Instagram, welcome. Welcome to my Instagram Lives. I operate on Instagram Live and Facebook Live at the same time. Yes. Multitasking, like so many women do in life. And then that gets loaded up to YouTube, so you can watch it again on YouTube if you like to watch it on a big screen, link it up to your TV, all of that. You don't get the comments though, so the fun comments happen when you're live. So we've got two lovely communities. I know I can see all the chat going on. I can't actually read it because it's in little tiny print. I'd have to squint at my screen to read it. But I can see there's lots of chat going on, so that's really nice to see. And again on Facebook as well. Lovely communities, so really nice that we can kind of extend the wellness and the wisdom and the friendship between all of us. So hearts back to everybody who's sending me hearts on the screen. Thank you. It does also mean that if one platform goes down, you know to hop over onto the other one. Okay, so Facebook, you'll find me on Instagram, Liz Earle Me. Vice versa, I don't have a personal Facebook, but I use the magazine one, so that's Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine on Facebook. That is, I think, all the notices for this morning. So today, I thought, you know, we've had such a miserable weekend down here in the West Country. Had a lovely weekend with the family, but miserable weekend weather-wise. It's been cold. We've actually even considered lighting a fire. You know, it's ridiculous, isn't it, when you think how hot it was just a week ago, and we were all, you know, absolutely boiling, and I was trying to find the fans in the attic and plug them in at night and all of that. And anyway, it turned really cold, but otherwise we had a heartwarming weekend. Those of you who are on Instagram may have seen I put some of the pictures up from the weekend from my son, my middle son, Kit. It was his 18th birthday and we celebrated. We had just a small family gathering. My parents came and all his brothers and sisters, apart from Guy, who's in Kenya, so we only had to see him kind of virtually. But it was just great, actually. So, yeah, thank you so much for all your good wishes on Instagram. I'm sorry I haven't got around to replying to everybody. It's been a bit of a mad morning, but thank you. Really genuinely appreciated all those lovely greetings and kind words. So today, I'm going to be cooking something from my yearbook 2. I did try and find it. I don't think we have this recipe online. It's on page 250 of my yearbook. It's the Nutty ginger slices, which I love. They're a real family favourite. They're so easy. So you don't actually need the recipe. If you've got your yearbook 2, then obviously you've got the proper recipe. I will make a note to jot down the ingredients and pop it on my Instagram when I do my little comments about today's live, so you can look back and get it if you haven't got your yearbook 2, or you can get a yearbook 2. I do have some here at the farm. This is the one that I've got left. We've sold out of yearbook 1. I have yearbook 2 with all the seasonal recipes in it, and I sign them here and send them out. So if you would like this, then you can get it. Otherwise, if you think that you might like to make it, just make a note, maybe jot down the ingredients as we go along and I'll show you. It's really simple. It's nuts and rolled oats and dried fruit and honey and a few dates and some coconut oil, and you make it. I'll show you what it's going to turn out like. Well, hopefully it'll turn out better. I said to my friends on Insta when I just started this, I actually just got distracted this morning. Monday morning, it's always the same, isn't it? Everything like kind of piles on. In fact, I actually I make a conscious effort not to email people on a Monday morning, because I just think it's that time when if you are at work or you do operate on email, that is the time when everyone goes there Monday morning, and I deliberately try and stay quiet because it's such a deluge, isn't it? So I'll often, write my emails and I'll save it as a draft and then try and send it a bit later in the day or on a Tuesday. Or, of course, forget and then say to people, why haven't you responded to my email? And they say, well, you didn't send it to me. And then I look in my drafts and, of course, it's been saved just because I was trying to be kind. Anyway, enough of that. This is what happens when you get distracted. It's a rather burnt offering, I'm afraid. This is supposed to be ginger nutty slices. It got rather overdone. So that doesn't matter because I'm going to make another one. I'm going to make another one here and now. And actually, do you know what? If you trim off the crispy bits around the edge, it does actually taste absolutely fine. So I'm going to redo this. Oh, that ginger. If you like ginger, this is really good. And I'm going to drink my turmeric. Who has made their turmeric gut bug? Anybody got the good gut box and made it yet? Oh, my days. It's so good. This I love. I showed this on Friday. It was a shout out to another really great British brand, little independent retailer called Oliver Bonus. I mentioned his story. I shared his company ethic, which was about doing good and being nice and being kind, which I thought was a fantastic company mission statement to actually put. So this, I just love. I've been addicted to it. I've been drinking it all weekend. I haven't actually put very much pepper in it because you know what makes me cough. You actually do need a little bit of pepper to try and activate the turmeric, make it a bit more bioavailable. But this has got fresh lemon juice, a little tiny bit of sugar, but that's been fermented and brewed in my turmeric gut bug. And it's so refreshing. Love it. Works particularly well with the ginger nutty slices. Yeah, all carefully planned. Anyway, isn't that pretty? Just loved it. I've got a plain one somewhere, which I got from John Lewis, somewhere about in the kitchen. Oh, here it is. This is one I actually had in the fridge. This was chilled, which I also love as a shape, but I just thought this one was really, really pretty. Anyway, I popped a link on Linktree if you want to have a look at that, and I know, Amy, you will give us a link as well. And I'm serving mine slightly warm. Not too warm, because I don't want to kill off all the good gut bugs, but just a little bit warm. Really nice. So yeah, just to remind you, that is part of the Good Gut box. Now, there's been a massive demand for these. So, freshly fermented, who are making them for us. Comes all this cardboard packaging in here, and compostable little sachets. They are running at about a week's delay because they've got to make the ferments, because you get 6 ferments in here. You get your organic kombucha, Scoby, you get your organic Blighty Brew loose leaf green tea, you get your organic sugar to brew it up with, you get your choice of yogurt, the Vili yogurt, which is the thin yogurt, and also the organic Bulgarian yogurt, which is the thicker one that you need a yogurt maker for, or a nice warm plate for it. You get your milk kefir grains that look like this. Just running through this very quickly as a quick reminder in case anybody hasn't seen. You get your water kefir grains that look like that. I've got my water kefir somewhere. I'll show you in just a sec what that looks like. And you get creme fraiche, which you make. It comes in a little sachet. Oops, where have you gone, Instagram? You've gone silent. There we go. And then you get your organic turmeric bug. So this is what it looks like. It comes in a little foil packet, and this is what you brew up, okay? And you can save some. All the instructions you'll find online. You just download them and print them off, and it's really, really good. They're organic and vegan starter cultures from freshly fermented. But it is going really, really quickly, and they are making them, they are brewing all these lovely fermented things just as fast as they possibly can. So if you order now, you should get it in about a week or so. And then the turmeric tea takes about a week to brew. Some of the things are instant. The milk kefir and the water kefir pretty much overnight. Obviously the yogurt as well overnight. But some of these take a little bit longer. I just see out of the corner of my eye my water kefir. So I'll show that. Just so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it turns into. I've got mine in a Kilner jar here. It's a really refreshing drink. Lovely for the summer, actually. You can make it with coconut water. If you like the flavour of coconut water, you can make it with coconut water or just ordinary water. And then you save the grains. If you can see down there, the little sort of clear grains, those are the ones that grow, actually. And then you capture them and then you reuse them. So once you've got your original starters, because these are really good quality, proper, organic, you know, they're the real deal, then you can save it. So it's the kind of thing that you only buy once, and then you just keep on going and going and going. In fact, I saw a question. Thank you, Amy, for putting questions online for me so I can see. This is from Sheila, who says on email, please can you tell me how long a Scoby can be kept in the fridge? I made a batch of kombucha and put my Scoby in a glass jar to use again. It's been a while since I've used the Scoby. I'm wondering if it would still be safe. Any advice would be welcome. Do you know, Sheila, I keep my Scobies for months. I really do. Months and months and months. And what happens when you put them in the fridge, especially if you seal them, so they're in a nice jar or a Ziploc plastic container, they just sort of switch off because they're chilled, so they just sort of have a nice snooze and go to sleep, and then you can reactivate them by warming them up or even just bringing them to a nice warm room temperature. So I've had no issues at all. I've kept mine for months at a time. You need to keep them in a bit of liquid. They mustn't dry out. So keep them, where my Scoby is actually, keep them in a little bit of the original liquid just to keep it nice and just nice and moist, and it's just sort of swimming around in a few inches of the tea liquid, and then you can reactivate it. Absolutely no problem at all. I think be guided by common sense. Obviously, if it starts to grow mould or get green whiskers or smell really bad, then, you know, chuck it out and start again. But if it smells absolutely fine and fresh, then yeah, you're all tickety-boo. What's this? Lana on Facebook. Could we add water kefir lemon juice? Yeah, absolutely. Once you've made your kefir, you can flavour it with anything. In fact, you could make some lovely hibiscus tea. You could make a rose petal tea. You could do a herb tea, peppermint tea, fresh slices of cucumber, anything. You know, bit of gin. You know, too early in the week. Too early. Later on, maybe. Okay, not for a Monday. No. Well, it is holidays, isn't it, for some of us? Now, before I get baking, I just want to tell you about this very quickly, because I don't know about you, but I always envy those really chic sort of Parisian women. You often see them, I used to see them at the fashion shows when I used to go to Paris, particularly when I was working at GMTV. I used to go and cover the couture shows and the fashion shows in Paris, and there would always be these ridiculously chic French women with perfect hair and, you know, usually bright red nails and bright red lips and no other makeup, but just looking gorgeously stylish. And they would all be wearing a little uniform of crisp white shirts and little, you know, perhaps flat-fronted black trousers or something like that. And, you know, I always felt that wasn't really me. You know, I'm more of a sort of floaty, dressy kind of person, but I do love the look. And over the years, I have been in search of the perfect white shirt. I have tried many, from, you know, chain stores to expensive. And anyway, guys, I think I found it, and I think this is it, and it's on sale, half price. So I'll give you a link in just a moment. It's a company called BAM, and it is half linen, so you get that linen-y look, and half bamboo fibre. And the thing about bamboo fibre is it's really soft. You know that I love Asquith London and their great yoga wear, and also Lavender Hill clothing. They use a lot of bamboo. It's a really good sustainable fibre to use, so you're not using plastics and like nylons, and it's just very soft, very easy to wear, very easy to care for. Oh, you're quick, Amy. You found the link to my shirt. Yeah, I popped it on Instagram on Linktree if you'd like it, because it's half price. Yeah. So not only is it such a great shape and such a great style and fabric, so it looks like linen, but it doesn't crease like linen. And then just a couple of little hacks, if you like, fashion hacks that I learned from Lily, my stylish Lily, who is kind of like the fashion warrior in the family. Although I think a close run-up, her brother, don't you think? Do you see the pictures of Kit in his vintage shirt? He gets these extraordinary things that he just buys online from retro fashion dealers, or he goes to local charity shops. and comes back with the most ridiculous looking stuff. And then he puts it on, of course, and he looks fabulous. So anyway, I guess they can do it at that age, can't they? They've got the kind of look and the confidence to pull it off. Anyway, if you want to go for something a little bit more restrained, like my shirt, this is how Lily has taught me to wear it. This is called the French tuck, which I guess the Duchess of Sussex made really fashionable, and it's where you just tuck the front bit in and you leave the back bit out. So it's supposed to look like this. So if somebody says to you, excuse me, you haven't actually tucked your shirt in at the back, you go, yes, I know it's supposed to look like that. This is sort of the French chic way of just effortlessly doing it. Of course, it takes ages to get the tuck absolutely right, as if you've just sort of casually tucked it in. And then the other thing that she showed me, because you know me, I don't like things that come down too low. I find that cuffs are really annoying, and you know, I'm literally often rolling my sleeves up. And it's always quite hard to, I think, to get the sleeve to roll properly. So this, pay attention class, this is how Lily taught me to roll the perfect cuff. Okay, so what you do is you take your cuff, and rather than just roll it back and back like this, and then you end up with a big kind of bulky lump, no, you don't do that. What you do is you roll it twice as far up like this, okay? So you've got a nice wide thing, cuff, and then you take the bottom bit and you tuck it into the top bit. So you then do this. And not only does it stay put, so it doesn't unravel, it actually looks crisper and neater and chicer. And if I was now strolling about in the streets of Paris, I would feel kind of quite confident. I've got my Marks and Sparks flat-fronted black trousers and my BAM top, which I'm loving. Oops, that one's come undone now, having said that. Obviously didn't do it properly in the first place. But actually what I like about these cuffs is you've got double buttons here. So if you want to do them up, you can. And also a little detail. I love details. Look, the second button down on their shirts is always in a red thread. So it's meant to look like that. It's not that you just run out of mending thread and lost a button and shoved a bit of red on there. It's actually meant to look like that. Anyway, thank you guys. I love BAM things. I've worn them for ages. And this is a new fave, a new fashion fave. So I just thought I would share that with you, because we had a bit of a fashion fest over the weekend, as you might see from my pictures. Lily actually was wearing an amazing dress. She was wearing bright red, which she never normally wears. And I thought she looked amazing in it with her pink hair. She piled all her pink hair up. And it's from this organisation called Lost Stock. Don't know if you've heard about it, Lost Stock. Anyway, they're on Instagram. They're probably online as well. And it's, you basically get a kind of lucky dip box. You put in to the website or wherever your size, the colours that you like, the styles that you like, and the sort of thing that you might want, like, you know, dresses or shirts or whatever. And they send you, depending on how much you pay, 3 or 4 things. And the reason it's called Lost Stock is that these are things that otherwise would have been scrapped. They would have gone to landfill, they would have been discarded. And because they're overproduction, or they're stuff that you know, a retailer perhaps ordered and then didn't take delivery of, and cancelled orders, that kind of thing. And it all the money goes back to charity. And each box, I think, is enough to feed a Bangladeshi family who produce it for a week. So I think it's something like that. Anyway, check them out. I think they're really good. Oh, thanks, Amy. You've put the email address, not the email address, the website address, loststock.com. Anyway, the red dress that Lily was wearing, and when she you know, turned up wearing this amazing dress, I said, wow, Lil, lady in red, you look great. You know, I never see you wear red. And she said, no, I would never have chosen it. I would never have even picked it up to look at it if I was going out shopping, because I just don't wear red. But it came in my Lost Stock box, and I put it on, and I just thought, this is great. So anyway, I just throw that out there as another little thing that we can do to perhaps help and support others with our buying habits. Now, let's get on, shall we, with some baking. Ginger nutty slices. So this is super simple. So simple, in fact, that you probably stop concentrating, which is why I burnt my first lot. So I'm going to make another batch. And if you have got old copies of the magazine, this is a recipe. It's such a classic. I think it was in the Christmas edition of something like 2016. So it is around in the magazines. But if you want it right now. If you've got your yearbook, you can find it on page 250. So I need to preheat the oven, so I will just do that. Preheat the oven to 190. So let me just pop that on. There we go, 190. Actually, I've got a fan oven, so I don't really need to preheat it, but there you go. And then I am going to use chopped almonds and hazelnuts, but I'm going to keep a few of them aside for the topping. So I've got some chopped hazelnuts in here. This is about 50 grams of hazelnuts. So I'll just take out a little scoopful, and similarly 50 grams of chopped almonds. I always like using the whole almonds. They've got their skins on. I actually put a link on the website to a Spanish brand of organic hazelnut that I buy. I buy it in bulk because I find hazelnuts can be so expensive, and I'm sorry, almonds I'm talking about here. They can be so expensive, and I don't like to buy the Californian ones because they use such a lot of water and they kill so many bees. It's like almond milk, you know, I won't touch that unless I've made it myself from Spanish almonds or other European almonds, and obviously all the transportation and everything else that goes into it. It's really not very environmentally friendly. So I did find a really good supplier of organic almonds, and I've tried to put a link to that wherever you see almonds on the website mentioned. There'll very often be a link to this particular supplier because I just think they're very good. Anyway, so wherever you're getting your nuts from, I've got hazelnuts and almonds just set aside there for the topping. So I'm now going to put the oats. So I'm using 150 grams of rolled even oats. These are organic, obviously. I just like supporting British farmers. I just try and buy British organic oats. Then I'm going to use in here the rest of the hazelnuts, almonds and the dried fruit. And I am using here dried cranberries, but you could also use dried raisins. I like cranberries because they've got like a tang to them. You know, they look like raisins, but they've just got a really... Oh, thanks, Amy. You've popped a link up to the almonds. Really nice. If you make your own granola, really nice to add dried cranberries to it. Actually, while I do that, I'm going to melt my coconut oil. So I'm using here, I've got about 70 grams of coconut oil, or you can use butter. That's absolutely fine. I like the coconut oil in this one because it gives a slightly nutty flavour. Turn that down a wee bit. So I'm going to melt, and I'm also actually going to melt my honey because this honey is quite set. This is actually my neighbour's honey. So yeah, it's got the name of the village where it was, where the bees are. Let me get a clean spoon and pop that in. So what does it say in there? 4 tablespoons of honey. So these are quite big heaped ones. So if I do one really big one, I think that would be enough, to be honest. Even I cut back on the amount of honey and sugar in my own recipes. They're already low to start with, but I find that, I don't know, I just find that as I eat less sugar, I have less of a sweet tooth and I just scale back on it all the time. Anyway, that's melting really nicely. So quick to melt, isn't it? Coconut oil. I mean, before you know it, it's just turned to liquid. So I'll just stir the honey in there. I don't know why I have to keep tapping you today. Instagram. I don't know why. Instagram just sometimes kind of flicks off. Anyway, Facebook, you're being very well behaved today. It's very steady and stable. Probably spoke too soon, but anyway. So, right, I've got my rolled oats in here. So I'm going to add the rest of my hazelnuts. So altogether that was 50 grams of hazelnuts and 50 grams of chopped almonds go into my oats. Then I'm going to add 50 grams of dried cranberries. So really easy to remember. 50, 50, 50. And I'm going to give that a big stir. And then I'm going to add some fresh ginger. So if you want, you can use dried ginger, powdered ginger, but I find fresh, it just gives it that extra little zing. And it's probably a bit better for us as well, with all the antibacterial activity, although it'll probably get knocked out by baking it, to be honest, but hey, it might retain a little bit. So you can use, this is about 2 teaspoons of fresh grated ginger in here. So it's quite nice and fibrous. In fact, I like ginger so much, I'm probably going to do a generous 2 teaspoons. That's probably more like 3. You know, I always say with my recipes, you can just adjust them. You know, you can just add the bits that you like, take out the bits that you're not so keen on. You do need to make sure with your ginger, if you're using fresh, that you give it a good old mix, so you get rid of the clumps, otherwise it can all clump together into one little lump, and then if you're biting into your nutty slice later on, you might get the bit with all the ginger in. Whoa, you would certainly know that. Love it. Yeah, so just make sure that's well distributed. And in fact, I'm going to add a little bit of dried ginger as well, just because. So I've got a little bit of dried ginger here. So I'm just going to give that a little shake. And ginger is such a warming spice. In fact, this recipe I think I first did for one Boxing Day. I think that was how I first created it. And then I'm going to add some cinnamon. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon into that. There we go. And then I'm also going to add some baking powder, just to give it a lightness, because otherwise I think it can just be a bit too dense, a bit too chewy. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Sorry, baking powder, not baking soda. Yeah, baking powder. There we go. So 1 teaspoons of baking powder. There we go. And then you're simply going to use the melted coconut oil or melted butter if you're using butter, and the honey. You're going to stir that all in. Okay, and don't forget you've got some dates as well that are going in there for extra sweetness. So dates, I've got 5 dates or so chopped up, so not many. Dates I love, but they are just sugar bombs. Okay, let's not fool ourselves. They are extremely high in sugar. So just need to be very careful how much we use. And also pecans. I do like pecans. I'm using whole pecans on here, so I might just reserve a few, again, just for the top, just because it looks nice. So here I've got my liquid coconut oil and the honey. So I'm going to pour all that in. Oh, it's smelling so good. Smelling really spicy. A really spicy day today. That reminds me, I have another swig of my turmeric. Oh, that is good. Talking about good flavours, has anybody received their Weed and Wonderful? Yeah, did you get your smoked seaweed? Oh my goodness, that flavour. So intense. If you missed it, this is my favourite, the intense smoked seaweed. Absolutely love that. Few drops, transforms. Honestly, scrambled eggs at the weekend, hard-boiled egg if you're going on a picnic, 1 drop on the hard-boiled egg yolk. Amazing. And then of course this is the other one I've got here in the kitchen. You can see I've been using that quite a lot. This is the infused rapeseed oil with it's got the seaweed that's in there. And then this one is the one with the little bits of seaweed, which kind of goes like a snow globe when you shake it. All those bits of seaweed from the Outer Hebrides. Did you listen to my podcast on Friday with Dr. Seaweed? Yeah, and don't forget you get 25% off all their things. And in fact, something else I've started taking, which I'll be back with 1 sec, just wanted to show you, because I talked about this on my podcast, is the iodine. Here we go. These were the iodine capsules, and I've been taking these for, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 days maybe. And really, I've had a bit of a boost. So who knows? It says here it helps with thyroid health, metabolism and cognitive function. So very interesting listening to Dr. Seaweed talk about it. And he's a marine biologist, PhD researcher into algae and seaweed. And he really knows his onions, or knows his seaweeds, should I say. Really, really interesting man. So do take a listen. That was my Friday 5. You'll find a link on Linktree as always if you're on Instagram, or Amy, I'm sure you'll pop a link up if anybody wants to listen. Oh yeah, thanks. And you've got the discount code. Yeah, Liz Loves, all in capitals. That gets you 25% off everything at seaweedandco.com. Is it? Yeah, seaweedandco.com. There we go. Right, so I've got in here my melted coconut oil and honey with the oats. I've got dried cranberries. It's like that memory game. You've got to remember everything that was on the tray before it gets taken away. Dried cranberries. I've got chopped hazelnuts, chopped almonds. I use the ones with their skins on because then you get more fibre. And of course almonds, really good for protein, really good for natural source vitamin E. I've got my fresh ginger, I've got my dried ginger, I've got my dried cinnamon. Anything else I've forgotten? Baking powder, yes, baking powder. It's very good for the memory, isn't it, all of this? And then I'm going to add in here my chopped dates as well. Now the recipe says medjool dates. Those are the really big, fat, juicy ones. You don't have to. Actually, I didn't have any medjool dates, so I just used regular dates. And in fact, if you haven't got any dates, just shove in some extra dried fruit. You could use currants or raisins or sultanas, you know. As I say, it doesn't have to be prescriptive, and as we all discovered during lockdown, there was an awful lot of make, do and mend doing with the recipes. Haven't got this, so I'm going to substitute it for that, and you know, which I love actually, because necessity is the mother of invention, and when you haven't got something and you have to find a substitute, it makes us think outside how we would normally be and try new things and experiment and things. Actually, do you know, I haven't got any sugar, I've run out, can I use honey, or could I try maple syrup, or could I use less sugar? You know, and the answer is almost invariably yes, you can. And I cut my sugar by at least half with every standard recipe and never have an issue. Baking cakes, any of that, I just don't buy this whole sugar malarkey. Right, then once you've got your mixture, what you need is a baking tin, and just line it with some, sorry, it's not very beautifully done, is it? Line it with some greaseproof paper or some baking parchment, or if you've got one of those clever silicone tins, then you could just stick it into that. And I think you're going to have to trust me on this one, because I think we're going to run out of time, because you have to bake it for about 20 minutes or so. Keep an eye on it, because depending on how hot your oven is, it might burn. She says, speaking from experience. So I'm just going to press this down. And you know, this is a really good thing, I think, to make at the beginning of the week, because then you've got something good and healthy. Well, reasonably healthy. Come on, I'm not pretending it's got no sugar in it. But it's also got some goodness, it's packed with fibre. You've got some complex carbs in there, you've got soluble fibre from your oats, you've got your vitamin E, and you've got your minerals and your protein from your nuts. So, you know, there's lots of goodness going on in here as well. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave just to scatter over at the end, or the last 2 or 3 minutes. I've got a little bit of leftover chopped hazelnuts, chopped almonds, and a few little whole pecan nuts. Those are just going to go on the top. So I'm just going to pop that in the oven. There we go. And then I'll show you the one that I did earlier. Slightly embarrassing. Okay, so hopefully yours won't look like that. Hopefully yours will look more like the photograph in the book. Well, in fact, you know, come on, give me some slack here. If that wasn't burnt around the edges and the middle, then it would look delicious. Actually, I can still eat that. I'm going to trim off the really, really black bits. But this is what it's going to look like. Page 251. There you are, you see? There's one that I made earlier. Actually, this was made a long time ago. As I said, I think that was one of the first. So that was probably our second Christmas, maybe, that one. We shot it down here on the farm, I remember. And we used to have to work so far ahead, because back then we were quarterly, so we only had 4 issues a year. So we were shooting Christmas in probably the beginning of September. And of course, it was blazing hot, summer, typical. And we were all wrapped up in our woolly hats and making Christmas trees and, you know, wrapping up in woolly mittens and drinking mugs of hot chocolate by the campfire, all that kind of thing. Roasting ourselves because it was so flipping hot. Anyway, we're now bi-monthly, so our lead times are much shorter, so we don't have to be quite working quite so far ahead. In fact, we've just, oh my goodness, so exciting, just about today pushed the print button to the next issue, September, October issue. Beautiful, gorgeous, vibrant issue, packed with so many good things. Really, really good. Which reminds me, don't forget, it's not going to be sold in the shops. No more retail. So it is subscription only. So if you want it, you're going to have to get on the list. And if you want the next one, you're going to have to be on the list now, literally like now, like today. I think the print order is going in today. I think it was going to be on Friday. I spoke to Polly, my commercial director. I think it's going in today. So if you want This is the current one. If you've got this one, this is with all the cover lines for the shops. It's not going to be available in the shops anymore. So we do have a special deal. So I think it's 6 issues for the price of 5. So you get a free one and you get free UK PMP. All you lovely people overseas, we can ship it overseas. You just have to pay the extra postage, whatever it costs. And at the moment, there are just a few of the Neal's Yard vouchers left. £10 off anything at Neal's Yard. If you go for that, personally, I would recommend the organic lavender oil. I love it. It's a really high quality lavender oil and it's certified organic. It's a fair trade product. It's lovely. And as you know, if you've watched any of my sleep videos, you know that I just put a couple of drops on my pillow at night. I don't faff about with any of those sleep sprays. I used to, but actually I found that literally putting 1 or 2 drops of lavender oil, neat lavender essential oil, on my pillow is absolutely enough. And it's part of my ritual now to help me to sleep, along with my slumber drops, obviously, which I know so many of you are loving as well. And it doesn't stain. When I first started to do it, especially because I got a nice silk pillowcase from Holistic Silk, I thought, oh, maybe the oil is going to stain the pillowcase, but it doesn't. I mean, it really genuinely doesn't. And I've used it on cotton, on silk, for years. And I just have my little bottle of essential oil of lavender, and I have one everywhere with me. It travels with me. I've even got one here in the kitchen in my first aid shelf, because if you burn yourself, then it's one of the few oils that you can use neat on the skin. So, in fact, that's how lavender oil and burns, it was discovered. There was a French scientist called Gat Fossé, who is considered to be the father of modern-day aromatherapy. And he was in a lab, apparently, with some big vats of lavender essential oil and burnt his hand and plunged it into the nearest thing that he could. And it was lavender oil. And he was just amazed at how quickly his skin heals. So I always have lavender with me. I use it on little burns and scalds. I use it in the bath. I use a drop on my pillow. If, heaven forbid, I get sunburnt anywhere that I've forgotten, you know, if I've kind of missed a bit on my shoulder or something, then I'll just mix a couple of drops of lavender oil in with a really nice body cream or some calamine lotion and just pat that on. And it's, you know, it's a really amazing thing. I don't know if any of you have got similar stories with lavender, but it is a really good one. So yeah, Mozzie Bites, absolutely. And yeah, if you get your Neal's Yard voucher, then you can get one of those for free. By the way, the vouchers, just in case you are concerned, if you subscribe, your voucher is emailed to you. The Neal's Yard voucher is emailed from Warner's. Warner's are our magazine subscription service company, and they're brilliant. Any issues, just head onto the website and you'll find the number for Warner's. You can talk to a real person in England who can talk to you, or you can email them. And they respond really quickly. They're very good. And they email you the voucher. So look out for an email from Warner's. And they do that as soon as your first bank payment is processed. So as soon as they've actually taken payment, basically, then you get emailed the voucher. So anyway, let me know how you get on. Let me know what you spend yours on. I would love to hear. Just before I go, I will see if Amy has pinged me any more questions. Oh, yeah, a couple more here. This is from Woo Anderson on Instagram, so I hope you are listening and watching, Woo. Talking about HRT, can you use estrogel if you have a contraceptive implant? I'm 49, have another year before it's taken out, and it has low estrogen in it, I believe. Yeah, it probably would do. It really depends on what your estrogen levels are, because obviously you would be getting some estrogen from the contraceptive pill. So I personally would suggest that you have a chat with your doctor about that. I'm not a medic, I can't give you medical advice. It will be giving you a little bit of estrogen, but whether it's enough to make up for your falling levels, because as we know, when we hit perimenopause, our estrogen levels can really plummet, which is why we can suddenly start to feel so bad. We can lose sleep. We can obviously feel hot, we can get heart palpitations, we can get tinnitus, we can get achy joints because of all the estrogen receptors in our bones, all of these things. Anyway, I won't bang on about that now. Just to say, don't forget, I have got the e-guide. If you want to know more about HRT, my truth about HRT is really well worth a download. And we also have on the website now a brand new piece of content that went up last week, which is explaining basically all about the estrogel and estradose scandal. I think it's a scandal anyway. This is where we are finding that we have estrogel Well, we think it's estrogel, but it's actually underneath. It's got the label that says it's really estradiol, and it may even come in a box that says estrogel, but when you open it up, you find estradiol inside. So anyway, if that's affecting you or that's an issue, do please head to the website. There's a little article that you can print out if you need to. You can share it. There's a link. You can share it with your pharmacist or your GP or girlfriends who you know might be taking HRT in the form of gel. Really, really, really important. And if you have an issue, do please report it to the MHRA. There's a yellow card app. I've done mine. I reported mine. And you just have to put the batch number and you report what the issue is, the fact that it hasn't been helping your symptoms or whatever. And then they investigate. And I know for a fact there have been hundreds of yellow card reports. So I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't been withdrawn yet or something more isn't being done. I kind of think that maybe if there'd been hundreds of yellow cards for something like Viagra, they might be taking action. So I'm a bit puzzled as to why there doesn't seem to be more activity. Maybe there's a massive amount of activity behind the scenes that we don't know about. Let's hope. What do we think the chances are of that? I wonder. Okay, on that note, I am going to love you and leave you. Just very quickly, Jeanette from Facebook says, can you put neat lavender oil on your skin? You can in small amounts. Yeah, it's one of the few that you can. Very small amounts. So if I get a little tiny, like a cake tin burn or something on my hand, then I will just pop a little bit on. And they do say actually that the flower oils tend to be safer to use neat on the skin. So that's your rose, your ylang ylang, lavender, all those lovely flower petal oils, where a lot of the stronger oils tend to be the spices. But anyway, I'm going to save oils for another day. Maybe I'll do a whole thing on essential oils again, because I did one not that long ago actually, but I do love them. As you know, my nickname used to be Liz Oil because I love oils so much. Thank you very much for your comments. Yeah, I do love this. I think when I checked the website just before I went live, and there's a link I popped directly to this shirt because they've got lots of different styles and colours and things. I think they still had various sizes of the white one, and they also had it in lots of other colours. And in fact, if you guys haven't hoovered them all up already, I might hop on and get another couple of the colours, because I really genuinely do think that I have found my perfect white shirt. Anyway, really lovely to be with you today. I'm going to go and open a window now that we can turn the microphone off for Facebook, because I know that you sensitive people don't like me having the windows open because it sounds like a gale is blowing through my kitchen, which means that by the end of my lives I'm all hot always in my kitchen. Anyway, thanks Marie, thank you very much for your nice comment. Lovely to chat with you. Thank you for Jeanette. Thank you. Jeanette there, you're just having a quick question about essential oils. I do have an ebook all about aromatherapy and essential oils, which tells you exactly which ones to use. I think it's only $1.99. It's on Amazon. So download that, because that is, honestly, it's jam-packed with information about all the different oils and how you can use them and what you can do with them. So it's well worth a read, and then you can experiment. And if you've got your Neil's Yard voucher, you could even head off and get one or two of the oils with it. Anyway, there we go. Sending you lots of love. Thank you, Roxy Dog of my life. Thank you, Silver. Thank you, Fiona, Claire. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am back with you on Wednesday. I think I'll be in my studios on Wednesday up in London, cooking up some good stuff, talking about good things. Got a couple of new brands, actually, which I'm just trying to see if we can get some discounts and stuff going, because more great British brands doing great things, which would be nice to support. But anyway, sending you lots of love for now. Let me know if you make my ginger nutty slices. Post a pic and tag me. I'd love to see and share on my own stories too. Thank you. Bye.